The night was darker than usual, as if even the stars had decided to hide from what was coming. An otherworldly wind whispered through the trees, carrying with it the scent of something ancient. The villagers gathered in hushed groups, casting furtive glances at the forest's edge. Old tales had resurfaced, whispers of a cursed circus that appeared once every 50 years. Children clutched their parents' hands tightly, their faces etched with a mixture of curiosity and fear. Even the animals seemed restless, as if sensing an intruder in their midst. The clock in the town square struck midnight, and as if on cue, a phantasmagoric light burst forth from the depths of the forest. A swirling vortex of colors, too vivid to be real, yet impossible to look away from. The circus had arrived. Stepping into the circus tent felt like entering a different world. Shadows seemed to stretch and twist in unnatural ways, elongating the faces of the circus performers into grotesque masks. The ringmaster, a tall figure in a tattered tailcoat, welcomed the visitors with a grin that was more menacing than hospitable. His eyes glinted with a secret knowledge as he gestured for the audience to take their seats. Rows of wooden benches were filled with people, their faces awash in the eerie glow of lantern light. The air was thick with the smell of sawdust and something more sinister, like the distant whiff of decay. The show began with a contortionist whose limbs twisted and bent in ways that defied the laws of anatomy. As she unfolded from her impossible pose, the crowd realized that her smile never reached her eyes. A feeling of unease settled over the audience, a collective shiver running down their spines, as if some primal instinct was warning them of impending danger. The atmosphere in the tent reached a fever pitch as the ringmaster announced the next act. "Ladies and gentlemen," he boomed, "prepare yourselves for an experience that defies explanation." A thick, velvet curtain lifted to reveal a colossal wheel, its spokes filled with gleaming, razor-sharp blades. The ringmaster gestured toward it grandly, his grin widening unnaturally. Chains rattled as a figure was led onto the stage, shrouded in a cloak. With a flourish, the ringmaster pulled the cloak away, revealing a performer whose entire body was covered in intricate tattoos. The crowd gasped as the performer was secured to the wheel, and it began to spin. The blades whirred dangerously close, each pass a hair's breadth away from cutting flesh, yet miraculously missing every time. But just when the audience thought they could breathe again, the wheel screeched to a halt. The performer screamed, a sound so filled with agony and terror that it froze everyone in their seats. The ringmaster, sensing the crowd's collective horror, quickly sprang into action. With a wave of his hand, the wheel began to reverse, spinning in the opposite direction. As it did, something miraculous happened. The performers' screams turned into laughter, and the tattoos on their body began to glow, emitting a light so bright it bathed the entire tent in a purifying radiance. The crowd, once paralyzed by fear, found themselves filled with an inexplicable sense of hope and relief. The performers, who had all seemed so menacing before, were now revealed in this new light as guardians of some ancient magic. Even the contortionist returned to the ring, her limbs gracefully unfolding as she took a bow, her eyes meeting those of the audience with genuine warmth and gratitude. As the ringmaster took center stage once more, it was clear that the circus was not just a place of spectacle and horror, but also one of mystery and wonder. As the audience filed out of the tent, their faces illuminated by the newfound light, a sense of peace and wonder filled the air. The circus was no longer just a traveling show. It had transformed into a living myth, a tapestry of humanity's hopes and fears woven together. The ringmaster stood alone in the now empty ring, his eyes reflecting the myriad emotions he had stirred up tonight. For all the horror and awe, he knew that the circus was a mirror, reflecting back the complexities of the human soul. With a flick of his wrist, the tent began to collapse, folding into itself like some cosmic origami. The performers gathered their props and vanished into the night, leaving behind nothing but the afterglow of their presence. As the final remnants of the circus faded away, so too did the line between reality and imagination. The night sky seemed to shimmer with newfound possibility, as if winking at the human folly below. And so, the circus left, but its magic lingered, a haunting melody in the hearts of all those who had dared to step inside its enigmatic embrace.